Hi, my name is Jinhong Minn, and I'll be reciting a portion from The Finger by William S. Burroughs. The Finger is an unsettling piece where it reflects Burroughs' exploration of addiction, control, and the fragmentation of identity in modern society. Through surreal imagery and disjointed narratives, the work exposes how individuals can become trapped by systems that manipulate their sense of self. Burroughs' writing challenges readers to confront discomfort rather than avoid it. His work does not offer easy meaning. Instead, it forces readers to question the boundaries between reality, illusion, autonomy, and control. In doing so, it reveals how fragile our sense of agency can be in a world shaped by invisible forces. In this scene that I'm going to read, the narrator begins to notice something strange about his finger. What starts as a small physical sensation slowly becomes unsettling, as if the finger has taken on a life on its own. The feeling grows unbearable, feeding his paranoia and pushing him further into panic. Convinced that the finger no longer belongs to him, he becomes frantic and ultimately cuts it off. This violent act marks the moment his mind fully unravels, revealing his transformation into a maniac as his sense of identity begins to fracture. The Finger by William S. Burroughs. His room opened into a dark shaft. He turned on the light. Black, stained furniture, a double bed with a thin mattress and sagging springs. Lee unwrapped the shears and held them in his hand. He put the shears down on the dresser in front of the oval mirror that turned on a pivot. Lee walked around the room. He picked up the shears again and placed the end joint of his left little finger against the saw teeth, lower blade exactly at the knuckle. Slowly, he lowered the cutting blade until it rested against the flesh of his finger. He looked at the mirror, composing his face into a supercilious mask of an 18th century dandy. He took a deep breath, pressed the handle quick and hard. He felt no pain. The finger joint fell on the dresser. Lee turned his hand over and looked at the stub. Blood spurted up and hit his face. He felt a sudden deep pity of the finger joint that lay there on the dresser. A few drops of blood gathering around the white bone. Tears came to his eyes. It didn't do anything, he said in a broken child's voice. He adjusted his face again, cleaned the blood off with a towel, and bandaged his finger crudely, adding more gauze as the blood soaked through. In a few minutes, the bleeding had stopped. Lee picked up the finger joint and put it in his vest pocket. He walked out of the hotel, tossing his key on the desk. I've done it, he said to himself. Waves of euphoria swept through him as he walked down the street. He stopped in a bar and ordered a double brandy, meeting all eyes with a level, friendly stare. Goodwill flowed out of him for everyone he saw, for the whole world. A lifetime of defensive hostility had fallen from him. Half an hour later, he was sitting with his analyst on a park bench in Central Park. The analyst was trying to persuade him to go to Bellevue, and had suggested they go outside and talk it over. Really, Bill, you're doing yourself a great disservice. When you realize what you've done, you'll need psychiatric care. Your ego will be overwhelmed. All I need is to have this finger sewed up. I've got a date tonight. Really, Bill? I don't know. I don't see how I can continue as a psychiatrist if you don't follow my advice in this matter. The analyst's voice had become whiny, shrill, almost hysterical. Lee wasn't listening. He felt a deep trust in the doctor. The doctor would take care of him. He turned to the doctor with a little boy smile. Why don't you fix it yourself? I haven't practiced since my internship, and I don't have the necessary materials in any case. This has to be sewed up right, or it could get infected right up on the arm. Lee finally agreed to go to Bellevue for medical treatment only. At Bellevue, Lee sat on a bench, waiting while the doctor talked to somebody. The doctor came back and led Lee to another room, where the intern sewed up the finger and put on a dressing. The doctor kept urging to allow himself to be committed. Lee was overcome by sudden faintness. Nurse told him to put his head back. Lee felt like he must put himself entirely in the care of the doctor. All right, he said. I'll do it, Ed. I'll do what you say. The doctor patted his arm. Ah, you're doing the right thing, Bill. The doctor led him past several desks where he signed papers. I'm cutting red tape by the yard, the doctor said. Finally, Lee found himself in a dressing gown in a bare ward. Where is my room? He asked the nurse. Your room? I don't know what bed you've been assigned to. Anyway, you can't go there before 8 unless you have a special order from the doctor. Where is my doctor? Dr. Bromfield, he isn't here now. He'll be in tomorrow morning around 10. I mean Dr. Horowitz. Dr. Horowitz? I don't think he's on the staff here. He looked around him at the bare corridors, the men walking around in bathrobes, muttering under the cold, indifferent eyes of an attendant. Why, this is the psychopathic ward, he thought. He put me here and ran away. Years later, Lee would tell the story. Did I ever tell you about the time I got a Van Gogh kick and cut the end joint of my little finger? At this point, he would hold up his left hand. This girl, see? She lives in the next door in a rooming house on Jane Street. That's the village. I love her, and she's so stupid I can't make any impression. Night after night, I lay there, carry on with some man in the next door. It's tearing me all apart. So I hit on this finger joint gimmick. I presented to her a trifling memento of my underlying affection. I suggest you to wear it around your neck in a pendant filled with formaldehyde. But my analyst, that lousy bastard, shanghaied me into the nut house, and the finger joint was sent to Pottersfield with a death certificate because someone might want to find the finger joint, and the police go around finding for the rest of the body. So, if you ever have an occasion to cut off a finger joint, my dear, don't consider any instrument but poultry shears. That way you're sure of cutting through at the joint. Ah, and what about the girl? Oh, by the time I got to the nut house, she'd gone to Chicago. I never saw her again. Thank you.